What is up, everybody? Hello, hello. Hopefully it's working. I think I figured it out. Thank you so much for everybody who's tuning in. I realize we're pretty late into the night. For anybody who's in the East Coast, you're absolutely insane for being here. Welcome. This is the EPL layout review video. I'm going to be doing this kind of quickly because I'm actually well over time and what I'm supposed to be streaming, but that's okay. If everybody who's watching the video live, if you would not mind giving me a like on the video, it does help out this video a lot. It helps spread it to other people. I realize the EPL, I believe, is not this weekend but the weekend after, so we again don't have so much time before the event happens. As a reminder, if you guys, Nick, what's up? If you guys want me to review any layouts, the two things you have to do: you need to be in the Discord server. At this point, I'm just going to make that a hard rule. You need to be in the Discord server, and you need to send me the Guns Up link. I will review a layout on stream if it's like a big regional tournament or a national tournament, but otherwise I'll probably just provide, if it's not one of those, I'll probably just provide my like critiques and criticisms and stuff here and there, but I can't give it as much time and attention as I do those other sorts of tournaments. So I apologize for that. It's just my time is stretched super thin, so hopefully you understand. But we're gonna walk this layout like we normally do. Starting with what we see in terms of zones. We're going to walk the baseline, see what gaps exist, and then we're just going to walk each side of the field and kind of apply the same principles that we do every time we walk a field, which is we're looking for the routes that we need to take to move up the field, the things that are going to stop those routes that we need to be aware of, and then what are the free kills when we earn a new position, right? So as soon as we get to a bunker, what are the first things that we should be looking at to eliminate? Because that's what you want to do, right? As Rusty Glaze says, for you guys who were at the last stream, you're looking for next packs and backs. Okay, again, as a reminder, guys, if you're watching the video live right now, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Let's jump into it. Okay, I'm going a million miles an hour right now because we're gonna get perfect song. Okay, first things first, zones. Let's look at the zones. Oh, this one's kind of straightforward. That's nice. Now, as I recall, this is a 3-man event. It might actually not be. I'm not going to pretend that it is, or look at it as though it is, because I could be wrong. But I could actually draw that last line differently. I'm going to undo that. Okay. So here are the zones. This is the Iowa. This is the Nevada. This is the Texas. This is the Oklahoma and Arizona, not Nevada, Arizona. So again, the reason we draw these is because in a standard breakout, we would likely find one player in each of these zones in a standard breakout. And when we eliminate somebody from one of these zones, it helps us process where the next guy is going to be. It's all for speed and efficiency, right? So if we tiger or kill somebody out of the snake, we can immediately, if we're playing the number 2, especially look in this zone to find the guy behind that dude, okay? So that's interesting to note. Next thing we're going to do is look at the baseline real quick and see the gaps. So huge, wow, massive gap right here. Wow, what an insane gap. You could easily hold this cross for days, right, and just get kind of low. Wow. Your only threat at that point is the guy running out here. This guy is going to cause problems, and if you want, you could shoot at that dude, right? This is a huge gap or huge zone. To where was that? Is that right here? Yeah, wow, what a big zone. Cool, that's really cool. So if we keep running, then if we choose not to stop, I wouldn't probably be caught anywhere past these bricks, right? I would use this line right here as your guide. This is the gap you want to play. I would probably not play this gap. You could, but I probably wouldn't. There's cross shots that exist. Otherwise, if you're going to just run out past that line, I would probably just shoot heads up. What a weird heads up gap. What in the world? That is bizarre. Yeah, because you can't ignore that guy. You can't see him very well, but you can't ignore him either. Guys, when I tell you, like, I'm really curious about the awkward angles, this is what I mean. Like, so if I shoot this guy and I get him to flinch, I can, first of all, just take the bite instantly. But if I wanted to shoot the tower was shooting at me, I could probably just back up right here. So look at this. I'm in a gap where nobody can shoot me. The tower guy is going to shoot right here. This guy's going to shoot right here. And I'm in a little zone right here that I'm telling you, this does exist. That's going to be pretty scary because the tower guy is going to be shooting right at you. But that's just interesting. I'm not suggesting you do that, but Okay, if we keep running out to the corner, now we've got huge gaps to anybody from the start box. This corner guy, or the can guy, is going to be shooting, but I don't think... Man, what is that snake gap? What in the world? Can you even... Okay, so... Okay, I'm just sorry, guys. I'm putting it together. What in the world? To be honest, yeah, wow. Wow, what a huge gap. That is insane. That is a really, really big gap. So the corner bunker is really strong on the snake side. It is a true tape, which means that this line you can see on the farthest edge of the snake and from corner to corner. There's a challenge. There's a lot of heads up little. So like if you just imagine if you were in the corner and you didn't know where the snake guy was, look at how many spots he could challenge you from. There's a lot of spots that he could challenge you from. All those little head peaks exist. There's this shot right here, this shot, and these guys, obviously. All of this is danger zone. So lots of visibility, but lots of counterattack. And then there's definitely a guy from the home that can put paint at you. This guy could shoot at you as well, but I doubt he would. And there's always the weird cheeky shots that people do, but I don't think this guy's a threat. So let's walk the bait. I don't even want to get into the snake yet before I walk this other side. How viable is it? Is that first gap off the break? Like, yeah, it's huge, but that's early on. Snake or Dorito side should be able to make that off the break, right? Yes. So here's the thing. This gap right here is massive. This is a gap that's much easier to make off the break. It is much harder to make it after that. But the only trick is that if I'm the home guy, I have two options to shoot you. And against good players, against pro players, this is going to be I mean, I'm not saying pro players are playing this layout, but if this was a pro layout, this would be... The snake guy would just have to stop at the can. There's no way he could pass this gap. So not only is this gap available to shoot the snake one off the break, but this right here, if you put paint right in this valley, you're gonna drop those balls right in the guy's mask. Right in the guy's mask as he's trying to run. And that's so much time for you to get that paint there. The thing about pro players is that they only need their first two balls. If not the first ball, they only need to get on point, right? That's what pro players do. Their first shot is super accurate. Anything lower than that, Division 2, 3, 4, 5, now you're starting to need more of a buffer zone, right? You need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls to have your shot dialed in, right? This is a wide enough gap that you could have 5 balls heading there before you need to make a correction to probably shoot the snake runner. And that means that your chance of surviving that gap off the break is much harder, is what I'm trying to get at. So that gap you're looking at now is what I meant. Oh, this gap I'm looking at. So this inside gap is a little trickier. This gap, you need to have your first probably 2 to 3 balls beyond. I would probably even say 1 to 2, probably, if you want to kill that snake guy pretty consistently. But that is a big gap, dude. That is a big gap. But yeah, anyway, if you make it to... Well, see, that's the thing. Normally, in the snake and the Doritos, if you reach a certain point, you're clear for takeoff, essentially, right? You have to cross one gap to survive. But the snake side is a dead zone. There's so much holes. There's so many holes. The only difference is that look at how much room is here. So the distance between this square is all of the room you have to play as a snake player. Okay. All of these angles that I'm drawing are materially different shots that the guy is going to have to shoot. Okay, so gaps usually, when you're shooting a stream of paint, there's probably, we'll give it this much. There's probably this much distance that you can cover in one single stream of paint. Okay, so if you're shooting paint, this is probably your effective zone of where your paint's going to land, which means that if you took this outside route, you're totally safe. That guy's not going to shoot you, right? The challenge will be that if the guy decides to fan his gun up and down, then he's dispersing his chance of killing you at a higher % chance at one spot, or dispersing it over the course of, a bigger gap. So, for example, if you were to only shoot this gap, in this case, your chances of shooting that guy is probably 80%. Okay, if you have any amount of accuracy. And that's true for most of the gaps you're going to switch, right? This is also 80%, we'll say, because it's the same wide gap. But if he decides to fan his gun up and down, well, now you're probably somewhere like 50-50, right? Because that paint takes time to travel. I know the math doesn't really check out, but if you start fanning up and down, well, now you kind of really hurt your chances of fanning. It might even be, we'll say 45, right? We could even say 40 to make the math better, but I hope you get what I mean, okay? But that just means that you have a lot of different routes to get to even this bunker, okay? You could take a center route. So if you look, I'm not meaning to take this much time, but like if you wanted to, you could shoot one of these two gaps. Probably heads up in this case. You could shoot this gap or this gap as you run up. I'd probably shoot the inside one, by the way. You can shoot the heads up gap and then dive right here, getting into this bunker. And that's a different route than it would be to run around like this and then get to this bunker. That's a much different route, okay? All right, let's look at the Dorito baseline really quick. Huge. Oh my gosh. This gap is insane. Insane. Oh yeah, no, I get that for sure. Sorry, I got you on a goose chase. No problem. I'm sorry if I'm not understanding you. My apologies. So this is really also big. But what this does mean is that anytime there's big gaps like this, what you need to be comfortable with is floating in a dead zone. Okay, so if, for example, as the number one, you kind of don't have a choice except to just run out. So you have a couple, I guess you do have a couple choices. So if you're struggling to survive in the Dorito off the break, which I haven't looked at yet, then what you can do is have this guy run here and then the other guy float behind him, or just play two people here, right? So the number two is essentially playing the home. The number one's playing here, and then you've got your number three, who either decides to go up the middle or he decides to float out in this gap as well. Okay, so you're just kind of shifting bodies around. But we're gonna assume that they just run. So that's a huge gap. It's a huge puzzle. Here is a super solid gap for the Dorito runner that you could make with paint on, depending on how fast that guy is. Yeah, you could make that for sure. Yeah, you could make that for sure. Interesting. Okay, if you go low, blind out everybody. This is off the break. Nobody can see you make this move. So now you're here even closer. So if they haven't gotten past this zone, if you hear Iowa, if you guys use our calls, or I guess AC Dallas's calls, if you hear Iowa and you're in that tower, you should get here right away, because I think this is a much better spot to hold that zone. That would be my suggestion. You could also stay here if you want. It's totally fine. Go to the corner then, and I mean, yeah, this guy's gonna have a lot of shots on you. These are such open gaps, holy. But if you get to the corner, you have a really strong tape. This is a strong enough tape that it's hard to give this up for an inside route, because like if you get to the corner, you can get to this Dorito for free. Okay, and now all you've got is that guy, the tower that's straight ahead. You've got that guy, and the center dude is not a concern, right? Unless he goes to the 50 brick off the break. But otherwise, the guy that's behind him isn't a problem, so you can get up to this mini Dorito pretty easily. But the problem is if you give up that Dorito corner, that's a pretty good bunker. This is a great bunker. But the only issue with it is that there's a lot of routes that they can take inside the Doritos that will advance them up the field well before you even see them. Let's see if we wrap. If we wrap. Ooh. Those bunkers are really close together. I'm not sure why, but okay, never mind. If you go to the corner, take this bite. Go right here. Slide into this Dorito. That's super free. Holy. My goodness, guys. This field looks fun. Okay, there's a slide. That's a straight beat. You got to beat the guy shooting at you. That's a hard one. Okay, interesting. All right, we'll keep moving. Let's go up here really quick. I mean, it's a pretty standard gap hold. It's not a great heads up challenge. If you go here, you're pretty exposed to the snake. Holy. I would use this as a stopgap bunker. I would not go here to hold the Doritos. I feel like you're just bait for the snake. So I wouldn't probably go there unless you're trying to leapfrog to run them down. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping around. I promise I'll go to each zone. I'm just trying to go through this as quickly as possible. So you got a corner challenge, pretty strong corner challenge. If you're playing against teams that take over the top shots from the corners, this is a great challenge for you. You could always, you know, hold this gap. Ooh, that's actually really good. So if, for example, let's say, for example, you had a guy that floats out here, shoots the cross shot, comes to this can, heads up, okay? And let's say your home guy was shooting snake way, okay? And let's say, regardless of if they killed the snake or not, he crosses this zone somehow, whatever. He gets into the snake. And your response to that in the early game is to run up to the 50. Well, now all of a sudden, look. If that guy decides to go to the corner after to support his snake guy, look at this. Look at this gap. You have two responses to that dude. You can either react to him here or react to him here. And if you get him to stop short because he panics, if you get him to stop here, well, you still got the same gap, right? So that's a really good read and react for the middle guy to go up the middle after the fact. There's a layout, 2019 middle tournament of the year. There was a Marcelo Margot read and react that he talked about. That was essentially that. It was like you run to the number 2 bunker off the snake side, you shoot for the snake corner. Whether they cross your zone or that you kill them, you just immediately take the bite if they go to the corner. There's a like up the center route that you would take. It's pretty interesting. Okay, heads up. Yeah, dude, this spot right here is super safe. I mean, people are probably going to start shooting paint back at the home guy, but even still, using this as cover against the Doritos and just like, this is a hard gap to shoot as they're running out, right? To curve paint essentially around this to shoot at you as they're running is just going to be very hard. So you've got essentially a turret that you can just set up like a freaking MG nest and just shoot paint here. If you decide to take the center route but don't want to get to the 50 just yet. If you go here, you've got the same sort of gap hold, not as good that you can do here, but you're much safer, arguably. And you've got a gap here that you can hold as well. But I don't know if that's super great. So... Okay, we looked at the center, we looked at the... Okay, let's actually look at the snake side then. So the first gap to be solved is here. I think that if the home guy is on you, that's going to be a really hard battle. Because essentially what that requires is for you to snap at this angle, which is effectively a harsher Dorito angle. Stand up over the top, shoot this guy to get him to flinch, and then take this bite. Which is doable, but that is scary, man. Especially if there's a guy in the 50. Look at that. Look at that 50. I think you just go to the 50 off the break, dude. I don't think you... Okay, here it is. If people are pulling up short on the snake side, if they're pulling up anywhere here, you should take the 50 off the break. If you discover that about a team, okay? The way you earn that is that you got to be shooting them off the break. So if you're killing them off the break in this gap and you're forcing them to pull up short, like let's say you kill them 3 times. So the first 3 points, 3 out of 3, you shot them every single time. Well... If they're smart, they're going to have to figure something else out, and you can make an assumption that they're going to pull up short of the wedge. That 4th point, you should be like, yeah, let's go to the 50, and we're gonna shoot right here. We're going to hold that gap. Okay, in the snake, I wouldn't even bother, probably, but you do have some inside Dorito shots you could shoot. What is this? What is that? No, I would just go low. If you get to the snake one, just go low. Get here. Pretty decent shots here, actually. If you back up, you got to be careful for the home. The home guy can absolutely kill... Or not the home guy. This tower can kill you if he shoots his shots right here. But if you do back up a little bit, you can actually probably kill the snake corner. Or the Dorito corner right here. Or force him to play on the outside of his bunker. That's a good shot. If you don't want to risk your body, you can always... just shoot this gap. That's really good. You could even shoot this gap here. Just applying pressure. It's not really to do anything other than make the corner guy scared. And then heads up. You've got this over the top, which it would be very dangerous, but you do have an over the top that you could challenge your guy heads up with. You've got this, but you've also got this corner guy and this dude that's a concern. Yeah, I don't know if I would do that, actually. Excuse me. If you get up here and you wrap, if they're at these Doritos, these are pretty good flinch or kill bunkers. So you either clip their head or you get them to flinch, and as soon as you do, you come here. Probably wouldn't challenge this. That's a much scarier challenge for you. And I wouldn't challenge that. So the 50 is also still a problem, man. Look at that. This 50 is a powerhouse bunker. So we've established this is a key bunker. Okay. Key bunker, key gap, key gap. Meaning that a lot of your survivability for the number 2 is going to come from how well they play this gap. A lot of your effectiveness at killing people on the Doritos side is going to come from how well you play this gap and how well you shoot it. And then a lot of your ability to suppress or just put so much pressure on the snake is going to be coming from this bunker here. Interesting. Okay. You get here. You got a weird up the center, which I don't know if that's going to exist at the tournament or not. Or up, heads up. Otherwise, if you just don't care about that guy... If they're at this Aztec, I don't know why they would be, but if they're at this Aztec, that's a scary challenge for you. Otherwise, your first free kill is probably this guy right here. If he's standing up. That's probably a pretty free kill. If you go to this, where am I at? Am I at their side? No, I'm at the 50. Okay, cool. So if you're at the 50 now is when you get your first, I would say that's probably free. This is pretty darn free. One of those two is going to be a free kill, but you have to hit your shot, okay? They can hide from you if you miss. So you got to be accurate with that stream of paint you shoot. Those shots are definitely there. So it looks like if you get to the 50, shoot these people first. This guy, then this guy. Depending if you crawl, that's fine. If you don't crawl and you stop at this gap, you can shoot this guy first before you cross into the Doritos zone. Okay. Obviously, now you've got the heads up problem where the corner guy can stop you. And the closer you get, the more susceptible you are to being run down. So let's see if there's even any reason to get more forward. Okay. Now is where you've got a free kill in the corner. This guy cannot survive, even if you drop shots like right here. That guy can't survive. This Dorito guy probably is dead too. You'll probably kill this wing guy, probably. This dude's also dead if he's not shooting at you already. This shot is definitely there. So if we zoom out here real quick. If you get here, first shots are these people. And then challenge this guy. But again, now you're super close to the guy that's probably here who can come run you down. So... all that really looks like is as soon as you earn this bite, you're coming here really quickly, like literally snap shooting, killing somebody, and then snapping at this guy. Now that I can tell already that for some of you this is going to be scary because when you go to snap, the first bunker you're going to see is this, and they're probably not going to be there. It's possible, but we established that there's no reason to stop at this cake, right? So that means that when you snap, you really need to be aware that you got to go a little harsher. You got to go a little harsher to snap that if there's not a guy in the corner. Okay. Interesting. I mean, the further up the field you go, the more obvious the kills are. I don't really need to, like... What you're really concerned about is I don't know where the bunkers are. I can't see where they are. I just need to know where those shots exist when I come up out of my bunker. Otherwise, you're just, like, headhunting. Okay, let's look at this inside route. Because I am curious about this. So, in the first 10 seconds of the point, if you get this guy to flinch, you could take this bite. Could probably do it on the outside, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I would not do that. So you could take this bite. Why would you do that? You don't really have you have a gap you could control, which is not great. And you have this gap, which you already could control. Not sure why you would do that. So let's see what else exists. If you wrap again and get this guy to flinch, which is, I mean, to do it twice, and you get to this wing. Well, now you hold the gap, but you're closer. You get here for free as long as the guy heads up is not fighting you. I mean, it's there. I think that's super situational. I mean, you could do it. I'm not suggesting you should, but if you wanted to change it up, so let's say your number 1 gets here, okay? And you're the number 2, and you're just like, you can't get to the corner no matter what. There's so much paint coming in this gap. Well, you might decide that you want to get creative and you're like, well, I'm going to take this route. I'm going to go here. And now, you know, maybe this guy's in the snake. Maybe he's pulled up short. But the home guy is still looking your way. Well, you could probably challenge him right here to get him to flinch and then come up here. And either hold the containment or just do this quickly and then get here. Because really the only reason that you do that is because now you're in a much better position to like run somebody down or take some kind of insert. Or I don't know. There's definitely routes that exist here, but I probably wouldn't bother with those. And we already looked at the middle, right? Yeah, we looked at the middle. Oh, the Doritos. Okay. So heads up shot, or rather not heads up. The guy that's stopping your path is this dude. Otherwise, I think you might be able to go low enough. It's always possible, that angle, if he shoots right here, to bounce shots down on you. But if you get low enough, you might be able to just blind him out and get up to this. I don't know why. Why is this bunker here? What is the purpose of this bunker? To hold the tape? Weird. Weird. I don't know why this Dorito exists except to hold the tape. Okay, come here. Same sort of problem. Okay, so what we've established, we're almost done. What we've established is that this zone right here is key. That's key. This is key. This is key. And this bunker is key. Okay, those are the key positions on the field. And the only reason I say that is because this one bunker right here, and by extension this one as well, because it can see a lot of the same things, that this guy can stop or shoot the same gaps pretty much all the way through the Doritos. All the way. He can shoot every single bunker on these Doritos. Meaning that this guy has to be very, very, very good at gun battling. Very, very good. I would probably say that if you're fighting against people that aren't good at... If you're doing a really good job of applying a lot of pressure, I would stay here. Because if people aren't challenging you and getting you to flinch, then you don't need to find different creative angles to challenge this bunker from. Because the biggest limitation to that bunker is that if I decide to get in... like, so I have to fight heads up, right? Or rather on my feet. Every single person I decide to shoot, I have to stand up on my feet. And if I do that, I'm putting myself in an obvious position, right? As soon as they get me to flinch, well, I can't see as many people, right? So the only difference would be that if I decide to hold that gap from here, not great, because this first guy can just go low. I can't see any movement in these bunkers. But if I decided to get creative, then I could step up over the top. But I don't know. I don't think that's a great move. I think if for example, if you go off the break to, if you send your number one to one of these bunkers off the break, and you are here as the number two, and you Tiger one off the Dorito side, I would probably say just go here and control the zone. Just shoot a bunch of paint in this zone. Give your number one all the freedom he needs. If he dies, you're in a really great position to just take over and get into the Doritos. Otherwise, if you get Tiger 2 out of the Doritos, now you can start wrapping kind of hard and looking to go up here and playing on this side of the bunker. You just got to be careful about the snake. Otherwise, if you don't get a kill and you're still kind of stuck, it might be a good idea to just go behind him. Because now... hold on. I don't know, man. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be taking too much time on this, but let's look at the free kills here and then we'll be done. So, no free kills necessarily, but there is a challenge. What bunker is that? Is that yours? No, that's theirs. Okay. So if you get to the Dorito, we'll call it 3. You can definitely look for some kills here. If you get to this bunker, no free kills. You're actually really exposed to that snake 50. So here's what's going to happen, in my opinion. I bet the Doritos are going to do their own thing, and the snake is always going to interrupt that. Is always going to interrupt what the Doritos are trying to do. It's going to be a huge disruption. So you need to know where the snake is. If they're in the snake 50, you might need to chill. You're actually going to be super pinched if that happens. So, interesting. Okay. If you get here... The can is a threat for them. If you get to this Dorito, that guy's gonna have to play super safe. This Aztec is kind of a dangerous spot for them, but I don't it's not free. And then if you go further, wow, what a huge gap. That's their side. So now you're in there, Dorito. All the inside is at play. I mean, here. This guy, I don't know why he'd stop there if they're in their side. So honestly, I would suspect that the snake is the side to push. Or rather, the snake is going to be the one that will win games quickly. And especially this spot right here, even though there's not a lot of free kills, but it's mostly because the snake can kill the Doritos. These 3 bunkers are dangerous to be in if somebody's in the snake 50, whereas the opposite is not true. It's not necessarily dangerous for them to be in the snake 50 if you're in these Doritos, okay? The only advantage you have is this gap right here. You can shoot that gap. So a couple things to consider, that if you go to the corner and you make it alive, you should just take this bite right away. In my opinion, I think you should just go there if you make it to the corner. The reason you take that route is because you want to survive the Dorito side and you maybe want to have your gun up. So that's also an option. You can make this route with your gun down, no problem. But don't, like, if you go here, go to this Dorito right here. Don't stop at any other Dorito. I would probably say that the guy that's floating out in this dead zone should shoot Dorito way, and the guy at home should shoot Snake way. Those seem to be the better shots because the home guy only has this little sliver gap. Where is it? Oh, am I getting the fields mixed up now? I'm getting my layouts mixed up now. Whew, I gotta end the stream. Actually, those shots really do exist pretty nicely. But I would say that if you're gonna float in this dead zone, you know what, guys? There's actually tons of room here. Okay, I'll let you decide. Just know that you want to not have any more than 2 guns looking in the same zone. Okay. So if you need to delay pushing out as the number 2 out of this little gap here because they're just killing you, then double up the home, have one guy shooting left, one guy shooting right, and then send your other dude either in this zone to shoot cross to bingo somebody. He can bingo whoever he wants, which means doubling up. He can bingo the snake side, bingo the Dorito side, but he has a few choices. He can either go out to the can, he can go up the middle, and if he does, then the guy that was looking this direction becomes the number 2 on the snake. Okay. Your snake runner guy has he has a few routes. He can go here. He can just take the standard route here, or he can go baseline here. You could also run to the snake off the break. So you got several options there. I could even foresee a route where, actually, could I? Before I even say that, this is the last thing I'll look at. It's there. It's really risky, but if you need to score a point, there is a fish taco route you could take where you go up. I don't know why people call it that, but we do. You could take this route. You're actually pretty safe. You just have to be really low when you get to this gap right here because you have to use these wings to blind. But if you want to score, if you want to surprise people, that's a really good route to take, I would say. So anyway, that's it. We are well over time, so I'm so tired. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I like I said, I'm sorry I didn't get to this layout several weeks before the event, but hopefully there's something of value here. Again, if you guys aren't on the Discord server, please be sure to join it. The link is in the description below. If you haven't liked the video already and you're still watching it, please like it. Especially, I have 4 likes in this video and 10 concurrent viewers. Please hit the like button right now. It helps me out a lot. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow, but I do stream video games on my twitch.tv/ZeekandHD account. So if you guys are curious about that, I'm playing Tarkov a lot right now. So I'd love to see you guys over there. And anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye.